Welcome yoga friends. Again, we're meeting in the yoga room. And tonight we're going to do a yin practice. It's not very many poses, but we're going to be holding them for a little bit of time. So the thing I want you to do, if you want to take a moment and make sure that you have blocks and something that's like a bolster, so it could be a pillow, could be certainly something like that. And for those of you near a wall, I'm not going to show, but if you have a wall nearby, I'd like you to try the next pose 100% against the wall, and I'll talk about that. It's cold in my room today, that's why I have a snugly down vest. I'd like you to come down onto the mat, and you can do fire log legs for those of you who want to cross your shin bones over each other. Or for those of you who can do some aspect of Lotus, I'm just going to do it with the right side. I want you to try going into Lotus. And we're going to be here for a little bit of time. And the nice thing about leaning against a wall is you can actually relax. And if you can relax with your back against the wall, then you're going to allow the lower part of your body to relax. So you can close your eyes for this. So we're just going to hang out here. This is the sneaky way that a lot of yoga teachers open up their classes by getting everyone to sit with their hips. If you need blocks to build up the earth so that your legs can relax, then go ahead. You can experiment with bringing your feet forward a little bit so there's a little more space for your hips. And then, you know, we've all had a busy day or busy morning or whatever. We want to start thinking about our breath. So it's always beautiful to practice 4-part breathing. Oh, I love it. We have to inhale all the way to the top, hold, exhale all the way to the bottom, right at the pelvic floor, and hold. And then continue. So you inhale and you slow down your whole breath and you feel the 4 parts. And there should be no anxiety around holding your breath at either place. It should be just natural, and it will elongate that hold with practice over time. If you're in half lotus, like I am, or even if you've just crossed your legs and they're on the floor, I'd like you to lean back and switch which foot is in front, because we always do it the same way. So you could, for those of you who can do square lotus, you could also do square. I'm doing half today, half lotus, which means my foot is right up into my thigh. This is a little more difficult and requires a lot more movement in your hips. Wherever you are, you can now just close your eyes. I hope you've chosen some fun music, some uplifting music for yourself tonight, or something that matches your mood. And then thinking about that 4-part breathing, you can also give your wrists a little bit of an opening by allowing the palms to face the front of your mat and just flexing your hands in a different way. Or you can just relax the backs of your hands on your legs. It's such a simple pose. And it's just so profound, the openings that are going to happen. So I love starting practices like this. I'd like you to take your fingertips behind. This is a yin class, and the more mindful we are, the slower we are, the more careful we are in transitioning to the next thing, and no jerking out of poses and making the body upset. So we're going to lean back, and we're going to take One leg, it'll be the underneath leg, extend it, and the other leg, and extend it. And then I want you to take those fingers and push yourself, your chest open. Your feet are hip width apart. You're digging your heels in. That will help with the pelvis moving forward. Spread your toes and just feel. For those of you who feel that this, you don't need your hands, then you can grab your elbows over your head. You have to use a little bit of your abs here. So for those of you who know where those are, go ahead. Breathing. The next pose is a forward bend or a caterpillar. That's what we call it in yin. We don't use always the same terminology from the flow classes. So if you have a block, this is really good to take the block and put it between your feet. It will keep you honest in terms of keeping your knees going up to the ceiling. You could take the other block, oh I love this, to just, oh, you can put it anywhere that you need to. Put your forehead, hold your heavy head. If you're smart, then you have a heavy, heavy, heavy head. Just feeling the back of your body, the back of your legs, your low back, maybe even your mid back. And without kinking your hose, without stopping the circulation going to your brain, just let your head hang a little bit. So we don't want to have to hold our head up a lot if you've taken the block away, but we also want the head to be a counter pose to our pelvis, to the other part. And we're going to hang here, and if it becomes too intense for you, we're going to be here for a while, so I'm going to give you lots of options. You can always come up, reposition, kind of give yourself a break, and pull with your hands or your fingers, and then come back down. And come back down on the exhale so that you feel like there is a chance that it's going to feel better. Every exhale, you're looking for space. You're looking wherever you need the space. I'm feeling I need the space in my calves today. And breathing. Relaxing your jaw. You can use 4-part breathing through this whole thing, especially if you can move the lowest ribs. That would be really terrific, because then you can send an additional relaxation signal to your body, to the places that don't have space. Breathing. Holding the breath at the top of the inhale, but with soft skin, with soft shoulders, like without any tension. And then when you exhale, all the way down to the pelvis, you feel the pelvic floor vacuum up, and you can hold that. And the slower and the more mindful you can make this 4-part breathing, deeper your poses are going to become, and the spaces are just going to magically appear. So we're going to switch this up a little bit so that you don't get bored of this one. We're still going to be going into a forward bend. Come on up a little bit with your bent elbows, and let's just move over on the outside of your left leg and come down so that you feel the outside of your right waistline. You feel you're still digging your heels in. You're trying to get your legs straight as best you can. And 4-part breathing. If this is more intense than going forward, then that's what you need to do. Use your fingertips, stay low. Then walk across your legs. Come over to the right. And just go slow. It's like you're being so kind. For some of you, you'll want to have your elbows on the floor, or maybe you'll push the left hip back and pull the right hip forward, or just experiment with what's happening in your body, how this little mini twist, how it feels. And then staying low, use your fingertips so we can wake up our fingers today. Walk your fingertips on either side of your legs. Then inhale, pull with your hands. Come on up. Exhale, cast your eyes and your heart forward over your legs. Spread your toes, dig your heels in. Feel the maximum caterpillar pose today in this sequence. 4-part breathing. And if this is causing you to feel a little bit like tension is building up in your mind, then on an exhale you could sigh, groan, moan, Feels so good when you do that. Use your fingertips. We're going to come up and you're going to do it so slowly. So I want you to go slower. I want you to be the slowest kind of person coming out of that caterpillar. So you just walk your hands millimeter by millimeter all the way up. Dig those heels in. Come all the way up and you land your head on your spine. And we'll just take a moment here. You can flip the palms of your hands. If you don't need your hands to hold your pelvis moving forward, either behind or beside, then you could let your palms of your hands go open, or you could grab your elbows overhead or your arms straight. Whatever works for you, whatever makes you feel powerful in this pose, and that you feel the impact of what we just did. We're going to do a counter pose. It's not going to be for very long, but it's going to be very important. We've just done 2 forward bends here. We need a counter pose that's kind of like a back bend. You're going to plant your feet, hip width apart, lift your toes so you know where your toes are. Take your hands right underneath your shoulders and take a look at them. Some of you will have to angle your fingers out a little bit, but if you can manage to have your middle fingers pointing to the front of your mat, that would be ideal. So you've got your toes lifted. You're going to pull with your hands so that your chest puffs out like a penguin. Inhale, and then exhale, you're going to drop your toes into the floor and lift your hips. Your feet should be right underneath your knees. So maybe you have to walk them a little forward. You'll know because you'll feel equal weight through your feet. Don't drop your head back. Look along your hips. Keep lifting, lifting, lifting your hips. Nice. Nice. And then carefully bend your elbows. Come on down. I know that one's the hard one. Good. Good, good, good. Baddha Konasana, Cobblers pose. Again, we can use the blocks. So take your blocks. If you have them, you may as well use them. Some of you will have, if your knees are really up high when you bring your feet together, you need to sit on a bolster, or you need to sit on books or blocks or whatever else you have. So this wide Cobblers pose or Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose, when we look down, it's a beautiful square. I guess that's what you call a double diamond maybe. And for most of you, you'll want to support your thighs so that your legs can relax. Okay, so I like to pull the flesh back. I like to leave my butt behind. That's one of my more favorite yoga jokes that I always laugh at every time I say it. Grab your shins or grab your toes, and again, you can use the block to help with your head. And then you're going to inhale, open up your chest, keep your armpits closed, and exhale, come forward. I'm pulling my toes tonight towards my shin, my shins. So I know that the 4 corners of my feet are connected. I want the feet pushing into each other. So the four corners are the base of your big toe, the base of your baby toe, and then 2 points on your heels, so kind of equidistance there. So imagining that you're drawing a nice rectangle on your feet, those are the four corners. We're going to be here for a while, so you need to find a way of using your 4-part breathing so that it distracts you, because this can be intense for people. There's a lot of things happening into our hips, and your legs may be shaky, and if they are, that's a good thing, because we want them to relax so much that the muscles are no longer involved with holding them up. You can drop your head a little bit. So again, it's a counterweight to your heavy pelvis, so the heaviest part of your body with all those great hip bones and head of your femurs and your femurs. It's a very heavy area. So we want a counterweight with the head, with the chest trying to come forward. And once again, just like when we were in caterpillar and forward bending, we can take our fingers and move over to the left so that we have something else to think about. Oh. And again, you can use your blocks in any way that's helpful to you. Now, notice if your right buttock is, if you've gone to the left, your right buttock will tend to lift. Try to press down and forward with your hands so your right buttock becomes anchored again. Inhaling and exhaling. Sighing, groaning, moaning, laughing, yawning. These are all good things to do here. Use your fingertips. Go slowly. We don't want to wake anything up. We want everything to be soft. Make your belly soft even. Walk around to the front of your mat. And then walk around to the right. And then hang out. Inhaling. Exhaling. It's remarkable how many times we just forget to breathe when things get quite intense. If you've found that you've lifted your left buttock or you're kind of moving over onto the right side to avoid, press down through your left hand and push that left hip bone back into the floor. So use your arms to do this. Breathing. So this Baddha Konasana Cobblers pose, we're using gravity in one way, which is to have our torso as the weight. We're going to do it in another way. There's many ways to use gravity in this pose, and they're kind of fun because they teach us a lot. Walk your fingertips around to the front. Inhale, open up your chest. Exhale, pull and go as deep as you can go. Press the four corners of your feet together. Pull the toes open with your toe muscles. And then inhale, come on up really slowly, super slowly. Woo! Always feel this reaction in my neck. I say it every time I come up. So take a moment. Again, let those legs be super heavy. Don't hold them up. You can grab your elbows or bring your arm bones overhead. With the weight of your arms, you're even going deeper, deeper, deeper into those hips. Excellent. So we're going to use gravity in a different way. You're going to take the sides of your legs. Just walk your feet away from each other. We're going to just help ourselves down onto the mat. I'm going to bring my pelvis closer to my feet. Come down on one elbow and come back down on the other elbow. Whew. Just take a moment here. Wow. That was a lot. So just take a moment to let the spine do what it's going to do. Now we're going to do Baddha Konasana with our back straight on the mat. We're obviously going to have to use our arms to help set up this pose and perhaps hold the pose. You can bring the four corners of your feet again together, and then you're going to grab whatever you can of your legs. So some of you will be able to grab the outside of your thighs, some of you the outside of the knees, and some of you the outside of your feet. Now, the tendency is to curl the low back. We want the back to be neutral. So we may have to use a little bit of our ab work, our low belly, to try to get that sacrum down initially. But once we have it down, I want you to just try to relax the low belly. Try to relax everything. So arms can be a heavy weight, just anchoring those legs. This is a completely different sensation. You can lift your head and reposition it because sometimes it travels. The tension travels all the way to your face or your neck. We don't need that. Yeah. If you can go a little deeper, then go ahead. Just hang here. Let the weight of your legs do the work. Let gravity just hold your body still. You could spread your toes. Pull them back towards your shins. Bring your knees together, take the sides of your knees with the palms of your hands. Then rotate your feet in one direction and the other direction. So knees into chest. And then roll over to one side. Oh, you're going to feel this. Use your fingertips and push yourself up to seated. And we're going to try Baddha Konasana again. So double diamond wide. And then we're going to come forward. So if you need to move the flesh, go ahead. But just imagine, without figuring it out or anticipating, just imagine you're going to go so deep that it's going to be amazing. It's going to feel amazing. You're going to hang out, four corners of your feet. Maybe bring your arms forward so that they can act as an encouragement. Relaxed fingers. Relaxed palm of your hand. Try to smile through this. I know it's intense. Notice if you've gone a millimeter lower in your cobbler pose today. Use your fingertips. Bend your elbows. Push yourself up to seated. Nice. Keep your feet still active. Oh, and then you can grab your elbows or bring your arms up. You could even go into prayer position, hooking your thumbs. If you want to go into a really interesting next step, you would drop your head back and look at your thumbs and reach up. And you'll feel this immediately in what the body has to do, especially low back, what it has to do in order to do that. And then allow your arms to come down. They can be anywhere that makes sense, where you can drop your shoulders, where it's nice and comfy. Just take a moment. My legs are shaking. I hope yours are too. The next pose has some aspects that if you have any knee problems, I'm going to show you that one first, and then we'll go into the full pose. So this will be hero pose. So I'll show the one for the modification first. And to do this one, I'm getting rid of my down vest. To do this one, you come down onto your belly. So this is for people with knee issues. You're going to feel this when you come down on your belly. You're going to prop yourself up with your elbow right underneath your shoulder. Now, some people will find that propping themselves up at the lowest rib with their block is going to really give them some comfort, okay? And others will find that they really need to use the bolster right across their lowest rib so that they can be supported. So you can see that my heart and my eyes are in the same direction. And then I'm going to bend the right knee. Everybody could do this with me if you'd like, but we are going to do hero. You can take the thumb on the instep and the fingers on the outstep. You're going to bend your elbow, and the direction for your foot is to the outside of your right hip. You should feel this a lot. Make sure when you look down that there's this beautiful line, that you haven't collapsed in your chest. In fact, you could even make an adjustment where the elbow is more in front of your shoulder. Those of you with flexy feet, flexy shoulders, you can see that I've changed the direction of my fingers, so the fingers and the toes are going in the same direction. That's an added bonus to this pose. Where should we feel it? It should be so obvious. It's in your right thigh. Oh, it's in the right hip flexor, quadricep. Whoa. So this is an area that gets shortened. We spend a lot of time seated. Those of you who are going to do this pose, you can wait until I cue you to change. The rest of you want to do hero, come on up. And for hero, once again, you can modify by sitting on your butt. We're going to do a wide-kneed hero. That's the first entry. You're going to sit on your heels. You also can use the bolster. You can use the bolster in this way so that you're elevated and it's not so crampy on your feet. A lot of people have problems with their feet. If your feet don't want to do this, you can always flex your feet out so that the ball of your foot is there. And then some people can actually do this pretty well doing that. So you decide what your version is. So I'm going to start off with the big toes touching and just settling. So I want to just check in because I don't want to hurt my knees. I want the belly of this large muscle and my hip flexors to take this pose. So you're going to take your hands behind. You're going to lift your hips and you're going to tuck your tail as if you're holding a toonie. You can tell we're Canadian here. Hold the toonie, then drop your hips back down. You're still holding the toonie, and now you're going to let it go. Okay? So this is the first place you figure out, is this as much as I need to go? If your body is opening up and you can notice, especially on your exhale, then you can try to come down on your elbow, but your legs don't move. So it's all about finding that juicy edge where you know, oh, that's the good place. I know that's the good place. And we're breathing. Don't drop your head back because that's just sending a tense message to the rest of your body. You should be smiling here. If you're going to come down a little bit more, you lift, you tuck the tail, get that toonie, and then if you can come all the way down, then you go ahead. Those of you who are able to go down should go down. There's a number of things you can do with your arms when you are down. You can grab your elbows, or you can be scarecrow style, or bring your arms all the way back. That's just like the juiciest of stretches. It's kind of like, you know, in the morning when you get up and you have a delicious stretch that just feels so good. Well, I know this one doesn't look like it feels so good, but it feels good on my body today. I'm feeling the tension in my nervous system just disappear as I hold this, and I hope that's happening for you as well. So those of you on your tummy, I'd like you to switch now to the other side. I'm going to show the more advanced hero pose. Don't drop your head back. Come on up, bring your knees together if you want to go deeper, okay? So when we bring our legs together, we no longer have that space in the sacrum, so it's more intense. So you make your decision for you. So coming up, lifting the hips, looking along the hips, squeeze the tuni, bring your hips back onto your saddle, which are your feet, and then relax your buttocks. And then you come down one elbow at a time and you assess. You go, oh, wow. Like this is so intense for me tonight. I'm breaking a sweat because the whole body is reacting. It's like a whoosh. So our legs, the front of our bodies, our diaphragm, they hold that beautiful hormone called cortisol. And we work hard to try to release cortisol in yoga, in our flows, in our yin practices, so that we get a reward. And the reward is excellent Shavasana, or the most excellent we could have on that particular day. If you've done lots of deep relaxation poses or Shavasanas, you'll know that they vary. They vary with your day. And you'll know that when you come to the mat every day, your practice varies, and it's like just like a little window into, oh, what was happening in the last 24 hours, and what about that, and oh yeah, that was a great thing, or that was an upsetting thing, or whatever. So you're checking in, and you're letting your body get rid of that information. That's why it's so important to try to come to the mat more than, well, if you could come every day, that would be ideal, wouldn't it? All right, everyone, the people on their tummies, you can release. And then just wait for us, because we're going to come onto our tummies now, and we're going to do something you're going to enjoy. Oh, it's called forward Shavasana. So people on your tummies already, you're there, your legs are behind. Rest of us in hero are moving very, very slowly onto our tummies, because we're going to feel a lot. Oh. So bring your legs behind. Oh my goodness. And then one hand on top of the other. Elbows out to the side. Forehead on top of that. And then I want you to imagine that your hips are melting. So let your feet flop open. Let them do whatever. Like, let your legs be. Let them find the space we just created with that effort. So your forehead is on tops of your hands. And you're just going to feel like you're sinking, like beyond, like below the floor. That's how heavy your body is starting to feel. And if you have to do a few sighs or groans, then go ahead. We're going to give ourselves, it's so great, those of you who've done this with me, we're going to give ourselves a head massage. And I just love this. But there's some cautions. There's some places along our eyebrows that are going to, if you press too hard, you're going to give yourself a bruise. So we don't want to do that. You're going to take your thumbs, you're going to start the base of your eyebrows, or where they would be, depending on how you groom them. But just like in between the bridge, at the base of the bridge of your nose, top there, kind of on either side of your third eye. And you don't want to hurt yourself, but you want to have the weight of your head. It's like we're doing acupressure to ourselves. And notice how when you do this that your pelvis is actually relaxing as well. Then move your thumbs along that socket, along where your eyebrows are. And just be careful. You can move them as you wish, but be careful in the middle, because there's a nerve that goes in there, and that's the sensitive part. Just avoid that area. And then just notice how this feels, how good it feels. You go along your eye socket to the edges of your eyebrows where they finish. Then go into the sides of your temple. Give that a little circle in one direction and the other direction. That feels good. And then go back into the middle of your forehead, and we're going to, as if we could draw lines, we're going to move from the third eye, the space between the two eyebrows. We're going to move up and then draw a line as if we were eliminating all wrinkles with our thumbs all the way along the temples. So we draw the line just above the eyebrows all the way to the temples, and then go to the next level, go back into the middle. And the nice part about doing this to yourself is you know exactly the pressure that is making you happy. And in the meantime, because we're concentrating on our face and our thumbs, we're totally distracted from our legs and our pelvis, and that is recovering from the sequence that we've just done. So keep coming up and go right up into even the hairline. That should feel fantastic. And then when you're finished, just take one palm and then the other palm and just hang out again. And just feel the relaxation response of your whole body from doing something so simple. It only took us probably a minute, and yet the whole body is reacting. It's so happy that we did that for it, for our bodies. Bring your hands right underneath your shoulders. We want to go slow here. Tuck your toes. Move your whole body into wide knee child's pose. Shoelace side of the feet if you can. Oh, you're going to feel this. Move back. If you want to use your block to just put your head on, or you got a pillow, or whatever works for you, that would be great. And I like, in this point, to bring my elbows out to the side because it just gives me some more leverage to push back, because I want to feel the pelvis trying to move to the heels, because that's where I'm going to feel those tissues. And then I can lay my third eye, which is so relaxed now, between or on top of the soft part of the base of my thumbs. And then I can hear my 4-part breathing. How good that feels. 4-part breathing. Inhaling and exhaling. One of the final poses we're going to do before Shavasana is we're going to do a couple of different twists, which is going to be really great for the work that we just did on our hips. So I'd like you to come up. Those of you who can do Japanese seated posture, I'd like you to try to do that. And I know not all of you can be on your knees like this, but take your hands, if you are in Japanese seated posture, take your hands and then take your thumbs behind. Just push your hip, like the bowl of your pelvis, you're pouring some water forward so that you can feel the tissues in your low back. And then feel your chest lifting, your shoulders dropping, and the cervical curve. So we're just repositioning everything. Now take a breath from the base of your pelvis. Widen your ribs. Bring the air all the way up here. Hold it. Relax jaw. Relax skin. And then exhale all the way down. All the way to the pelvis. You can feel it pulling in. You can feel your belly coming in. It's like a vacuum. You hold it. And then just begin breathing normally. Nice. Nice. Come on to the side and just rock over to one side. We'll bring our legs forward. We're going to do a number of twists here. So you're going to take your right leg. Make sure your left knee, if your hamstring's too tight, just stick that underneath. But make sure your left knee and second and third toe are going to the ceiling. Now pull, 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 pull this leg. Elbows, matador style. You're like the most excellent matador. And then you're going to take this right foot, you're going to put on the outside. We're doing easy twists. We don't want to get all these muscles worked up again. Your kneecap and your ankle, they're all in the same row. You're going to take your chest and you're going to bring it right into your knee and you're going to hug. Dig the other heel in. Those of you who don't feel very much here, you should be equal weight on the buttocks. You can start moving your chest around. Your nose and your belly button are in the same line. So depends on your hip flexibility. It also depends on your DNA. So just do you. Keep your throat nice and open. Those of you who can bind, your left elbow goes forward and then you take your arm underneath the thigh. And the binder is the grabber, opening up your chest. It's just a leverage point. You don't want to do it that it causes you to get, that you're bringing tension into the body again, because we don't want to really do that at the end of a yin class. We just want to explore the space we created. When you come out of it, no matter where you are, bring your arms up in scarecrow style, crab hands, then inhale, lengthen to the ceiling, exhale, come forward. Grab your poor right leg, help it. And grab the left leg, pull it back. Strong arms, strong chest, matador arms. Take an inhale, and then exhale, land the foot. Nice. Dig your right heel in. Remember, you've always got your block. If your hamstrings are tight, put them underneath. Then you hug. Make sure that your ankle and your kneecap are going in the same direction. Spread your toes. Feel your big toes. Those of you who want to go a little deeper, bring your right rib cage over. You can hug. Equal weight in the buttocks. Don't just lean over and avoid. Instead, be a proud person, proud chest. Those of you who want to bind, right elbow goes forward. Oh, that feels good. Woo! Nose in line with your belly button. So whichever direction your belly button is facing, that's as far as your nose and your head. So we don't want to take the twist in the mid-back or in your neck. Whatever version you've done, let's bring the arms up. Scarecrow style, fingers, crab hands. Now inhale, lengthen to the ceiling. Exhale, you come forward to the front of your mat. Nice. We're going to do some twists on the floor. So just make sure that you've moved your things away. So feet hip width apart. You could use your blocks for this if you wanted to, but you don't have to. Bring your arms up. I'd like you to tuck your tail. I'd like you to pull your belly in. I'd like you to have an imaginary ball or your block. And we're going to go slow. Now, if your feet start to lift, bring them closer to your pelvis. But see how long you can be. See how slow you can go. Pull the pubic bone to the sternum. Feel like every muscle is helping you here. Try to smile. I like to wiggle my fingers. It just gives me something else to think about. Yeah, thinking about, and then coming all the way down. Oh, scarecrow arms. Oh, I can hear you all groan. Bring your feet closer to your pelvis. Either soles of feet together, knees out, or knees together. Soles of feet to the edges of your mat. And just feel that beautiful response of your body. We're going to try to do a little bit of eagle legs today. So that's a beautiful twist that will finish off some of our hip work. You're going to take your right leg up to the ceiling and cross the leg over the left. Press. Now, for some of you, you have a little more flexibility. You could hook your right foot behind the left calf, but it's not necessary. So you do you. Then press through that left foot, lift the hips, and put the left buttock back on the floor. So automatically, the legs are already going over to the left. And then allow the legs to go over to the left. And if you've got your blocks, you can block it up if that's what you'd like to do. You could dig your elbows in, move your body over to the left. Make sure your right shoulder, the back of your right shoulder is on the floor. We're going to be here for a while. So you're going to feel all kinds of adjustments. You can reposition your head. You can inchworm your body a little longer. There's going to be times when you want to fidget to get a better location for everything, better spaces. Now check in with your belly. Are you holding your belly in so that you don't feel as much in this twist? On the next exhale, I want you to let that go. Let it go. Hands so soft. Thumbs soft. Jaw soft. Notice when you groan and sigh, make a sound that the body gives up just a little more to gravity. Bring your elbows close into your rib cage. The arms are 90 degrees, so fingers pointing to the ceiling. Use the backs of your arms and your elbows as you roll back onto your spine. Undo your right leg so it comes right beside the left foot. Bring both feet close to the buttocks. Press down, rearrange your hips so they're perfectly in line with your shoulders. Inchworm your body a little bit further away from your pelvis. Interlock your fingers to the webbing behind your head and stretch the back of your neck. Keep your elbows in. So you're just doing this beautiful cradling of the back of your neck. And then very, very slowly bring your head back down. Ooh, that feels good. Left leg goes up to ceiling. Bend the left knee. Make sure your toes are flexed initially, at least. Left leg over. If you are more flexy, then you can do full eagle legs, but it's not necessary. Press through the right foot. Lift your hips, put the right buttock back down, and the legs are already moving towards the right. So just noticing. Then digging your elbows in, maybe dragging your body over to the right a little bit, and you can do any arms that you'd like. I like scarecrow arms here. Then I know my left shoulder is on the floor. Reposition your head. Let your neck have lots of space whenever it needs it, because everything is moving here. Like we think we're just in this pose and then that's it. No. Gravity is still working, pulling our legs over, still creating space in left armpit, left chest. And if we breathe, especially to the lowest rib, we are really infinitely moving. And just notice the moving. Say, oh, isn't that interesting? And then notice if you've stopped moving because you've pulled in your abs. So let that be very, very soft. Let your center be soft. And let your breath be big. Like you're massaging all your organs, your whole nervous system. There's so many restorative twists that we can do. They all have their little moments, and some of them feel great, some of them are more challenging. They're all good. Inhaling, 4-part breathing, exhaling. Close your eyes if it helps. Bring your elbows close into your ribs. We're going to go slowly here. One elbow, then the other elbow, and then don't move. Fingers to the ceiling. Then press through the backs of your arms and your elbows and roll so slowly back onto your spine. Right foot comes on the floor. Lift your hips. Reposition. Bring the left leg up to the ceiling. Bring the left foot behind your left buttock, knees bent. Reposition again your torso so that the shoulders are in perfect alignment with your hips. Interlock your fingers to the webbing behind your head. Stretch the back of your neck, elbows in. Oh, it feels so good. Allow your head to come down to the floor. And then roll over to one side and come up to seated. Come to the first pose that we did at the beginning of the class. And just take a moment to feel. So just close your eyes. Feel how awake your whole body is at this moment, how fluid your hips feel, your shoulders, how your breath is able to move in your body. Beautiful. This is the part in this practice where I encourage you to get all of your comfy things, your blankies, your favorite music, or continue with a Shavasana music video on this channel. And I want to say I'm so grateful that you have joined me. It really does mean the world to me. It really does. I'm so happy that you came tonight and did this yin practice. Namaste.